Okay, so here it is, the final make for 13 projects of Halloween. Thank you for joining me today, and I do hope that you enjoy this one. It's definitely a bright, cheerful, something kind of like, if Halloween was Christmas morning, what it would feel like to wake up. We got some costumes for gifts and a great mask. And thank you for joining me with this series, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe and be sure to hit the little bell for notifications, and hopefully I will be back with you soon. So glad you're here. So a couple weeks ago, Tim Holtz on his Instagram did a live, and he was doing Halloween hacks, and he showed how to dye these natural bristle trees, and worked with some glitter and stuff. And for the life of me, I haven't been able to, put it out of my mind. So today we're going to alter this dollar store frame and add some stained trees and glitter it all up as if it was a kid waking up, as if Halloween was Christmas morning. So I think this is going to definitely be a pretty fun one. So I'm just starting. You've seen me before on the plain collage paper. I'm just stamping. I'm using, this is the background web stamp from Skulls and Cobwebs, and I laid it down on my media mat, centered. This is 6 inches across, so I know that I'm staying within like the center here. Inking it up really good with my Archival ink that has been refilled with black soot. I really like that color, and it's on a block that's lined up so I can keep all this. Not that it's really necessary that it all stays lined up, because it's going to be wrapping around the frame, and the frame itself is pretty, there's quite a bit of detail to it, but I'm just looking for, keeping this somewhat symmetrical. And actually there was a lot going on in that corner, so I decided just to flip it, and yep, and this is wide enough, so I'll be ripping it down the center and then placing it on the frame. So you get this idea. Alright, and I'm not worried about that at all. So continue doing that till you have enough to cover the pieces. Off screen, I am just going to paint the base of this. Nothing fancy. I just want a base. Ooh, that's awful loud. I'm sorry. Just a base color that this collage paper is going to go onto. Okay, so this has the coat of Twisted Citron on it, and I'm just going to set it aside to dry. And while that's drying, I've got some Tim Holtz watercolor paper here, and it is it's just 8.5 by 11. And so I want to just get some color down on this. This is going to be the background of the picture, or where the picture would normally go. So it's just going to be the background, but I don't want to go crazy. I want to leave some white, and I just want to, have it subtly be in, the colors in the background without overpowering. So what I'm going to do, my main 3 colors are going to be Twisted Citron, Wilted Violet, and Carved Pumpkin. But for this, I want the regular colors, so then that way the white can pop through a little bit more. So I've got my silicone mat so it doesn't puddle up on the glass. Okay, so I'm going to lay down some ink. I've got some Carved Pumpkin here. I'm not putting much because I want this, like I said, to be really subtle. I don't have Distress ink and Twisted Citron, so I'm going to use the stain, but that's okay. They play well together. And then just some of the Wilted Violet. And And again, I'm going really, really lightly. Considering this is an 8.5 by 11, this isn't much ink at all. But I just really want like splotches and just a hint of color. I'm also spritzing. I've got a really extremely fine mist here, and I'm just going to mist my paper also. Remembering this is a big piece of paper. And then I'm going to just lay it down and swoosh it a little. Or the wrinkle-free technique, I think, is the official. There. Oh yeah, see? Just enough to say, hey, I'm there. And you can see here that the purple and brown, I'm not liking that, or the purple and orange, I'm not liking this. So I'll just remove those dots. And then let's see, a little, maybe some purple up in there. This one's a little dark too. And then maybe a little more of the orange down here. Okay. And I'm really wanting some of that white to stay. So I am good with this. And before it, I'm going to let it move around by moving it back and forth, and just to add some interest. Okay. I'm going to put it sideways just so you can see. Sorry about the lighting change with having such a big project. I had to zoom out, and so there wasn't reflections. The lights are in an odd spot. Hopefully it doesn't get you to stop watching. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be adding the splashes. So I've got my old trusty, oh, I'll just use this. Add some purple, or wilted violet, excuse me. Rinse that out a little. Get some of the carved pumpkin. Moving it around so the dots aren't all, the splatters aren't the same direction and shape. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay, and then the last little bit of the twisted citron. Twist. Okay, so while this is still wet too, I am going to take the background stamp, the one we used on the collage paper. So this one here, I'll take it off of the acrylic block. And then I'm just going to pull these together. Just ink this up a little. Pretty random. Spritz it. The really, really fine mist. And then put it in where I see like bigger splotches of the purple, the wilted violet. So like right here, and I'm not putting the whole background down. I'm only, yeah, just kind of looks like it happened while, there's still more on there. Just kind of gives it that watercolor effect and like it happened while. There, I like that. Okay, let's switch colors. Let's do some of the orange, but in a different spot on the stamp. So let's go here over on the side a little bit. excuse me, cleaning off this edge just in case I got any of it, because I don't want that harsh edge. Spritz. And then, yeah, there's some orange right in here and over here. Just adding a really nice hint, I think. Maybe right in there. There wasn't much left on there, and that's okay. I gotta remember too that a lot of this is going to get covered up. And let's just do a little bit of the twisted citron. And this is a little more tricky because it's a stain, but just as long as I don't press real hard, it'll be okay. And because that's so liquidy, I am not going to spray that. And let's see, we need some up here. And let's go a little bit. Let's see, right? Need a little bit of green right in here. Maybe a little more here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So we'll give that a dry and let's start putting this project together. Okay, so working in sections, just apply, you know, a generous amount of collage. Nice and wet and juicy. And then just start to lay down and wrap around the piece. And, you know, I got a little wonky, so I can, this is strong enough for me to lift up. This was just regular tissue paper, it would have ripped, but because it's plain collage paper, it's a dream to work with. Okay, so I'm just using my distress brush. Has some real nice tight bristles, stiff bristles, so I'm just getting down into those grooves. My brush gets a little dry, just re-dip it. And then we'll go with the next section, lifting back a little bit so there's a, you know, we're overlapping, like so, and then laying down. And now that I have this started in the correct you know, it's all lined up, it's just going to continue to line up. And if there's a couple creases in there, that's okay. And there we go. So continue all the way around. I'm not worried about this. Continue all the way around. Let me show you how I'm going to do the corner here. I'm just going to gently rip this right along, because I only went to that corner anyway. So I'm just gently ripping along here, along this corner, or angled, you know, cutting the frame. You know how they do that with the wood. Continuing this at the same angle. Okay, so there, put some more distress down just to seal that off real nice, get it transparent. Nice. And then now I can use it either up here or on this side, because I've already got this corner cut. Oh, you can't see it. So I could either use it here or here. And then for this one, I've got my other piece here, that down. So here I'm, let's see, which side do I want to start? Why don't we do this side since it's already. So if I take and with the same angle, but this way, this time going opposite, I'm just ripping this on this angle. What is that, 45? I'm just eyeballing it, so actually it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's going to fit in nicely over that. And I can always wait if I just go right to this corner. Let me zoom, get it back in focus here. So I can always just go up to that line, and this is pretty much dry. Go right up to that line and then lay this down, but only go to that line I just laid the glue down. So when it is completely dry, I can just take and rip that off. So there. So I'm just going to show how easy it is to clean up the, you know, the collage paper here. So I'm just using the edge of a water brush, and I picked this one because it's got a bigger bristle or tip on it for me, and I'm just going on the edge along the edge of the brush along this corner edge of the frame, and then I'm just gently, you want it to get a little damp, and then I'm just gently ripping. And it's as easy as that. And the cool thing too is I've even got some future washi tape if I wanted, you know, or you know, something like a washi tape. So save those bits. Okay, so next I'm going to stain this tree. So just following kind of what Tim did. It's in my splat box, and I've got it laying down, and I'm just gonna spray it nice and generous. And I decided to go with the black one just because, you know, we're gonna keep a pretty light background. And the one he did looked pretty cool. So there we go, looking good. Just give this a quick dry. Okay, so I've got some of the black glitter that's left, which this is pitch black and rock candy glitter. And I save my distress bottles when I'm done with them, and there's always uses, whether it's, you know, taking and putting the daubers into the bottles, or you know, for any reason. But anyway, my resist spray is clogged, which I probably didn't clean the sprayer before putting it away, and I've ordered new ones, but they're not here yet. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna put this into here. I'm just gonna make do. And then this resist spray, you want to make sure that you're in a covered area because it sticks to everything. And then I'm just gonna get it squirt on here, good amount, and then sprinkle some of the glitter. And this is just, like I said, following what he had showed on Instagram, so this isn't my own thing. But, and that little amount of glitter is gonna do it, which is really, to me, just amazing. Let's get a good amount up here on the top. Look at that. Beautiful. And then make sure I clean this off. And why not just use it all since I've got it. Okay, so there's the tree. So if this is going to be a Halloween Christmas, well, we definitely got to have some presents under the tree, right? And what better than our Halloween costumes? So the plan is to have these kind of stacked and around the tree, but obviously they're a little too wide. So we'll end up just splitting these in half, but I wanted to show what I'm going to do for the base of the box, because I can't use the wood vignette boxes because, you know, I don't want to have to cut those, and these don't have to be so sturdy. So I'm just going to just trace. This is heavy duty Ranger black cardstock, which I believe that they're discontinuing, which is a disappointment because it's a really great sturdy, like, look at, I mean, that's a pretty sturdy, I'd almost say it's over 140-pound weight. But anyway, I'm just going to trace it and cut it, and then I'll just take and split this down the center, so then I'll have an inside for support because stuff's going to be sitting on top of it, and it'll also be then the bottom. And so I'm going to do that with all the boxes that we're going to use. I think probably use the 3, but we'll see. Okay, so I've just created the video for the Halloween tag. I'll link it here if you care to watch that. So just touching base, trying to get back into the groove of this, but I have glued the background paper onto the hard frame back, and have just laid it kind of out, see how things are going. So I've got the one box here cut in half, so that one's going to go kind of there like that, I'm thinking. And then this other smaller one, I decided I want to have it like on the angle here, and this is actually cut out to be over here, but I may end up switching my mind a little bit and putting it over here. We'll see. But my thought is the tree is going to go right into the center, and then I've created, like I showed in yesterday's video, I used THS 093 and used texture paste, transparent gloss, and have put it through the stencil and then applied just the clear rock candy. And this is going to be the inside of the box for, once this gets done, just to give a view. But I stamped Mr. Bones, the stamp here from there. I stamped Mr. Bones and did him twice, because of course, you know, you got to have dimension. But what I did was I took enamel, where'd it go? Sorry, put it back, put it away. Can you believe that? I took enamel accents and laid, let me see if I can get up there, lay and brush this out with a, you know, an old brush, one that in case it, you know, got ruined, I wouldn't care, but brushed it out but left it really thick, and it's self-leveling. So to me, I'm trying to get the shine and the dimension. To me, it just really looks like it's mask material. It's like it's a plastic. And then what I did is I let it completely dry. It did take a bit because it was a little thick. I wanted it undisturbed, left it in the stamp platform, and stamped again, and look it. There was a little bit of issue with the eye, but I just took out of my other stamp, cut the eye, and placed it behind here. Now this is this is actually a jump ring, but it was so perfect I had to use it. So I just used some patina. I had gotten this on clearance. This is a patina by Ranger. And did the white first, and then just used the Limeade alcohol ink, and then put glossy accents in the inside, so you can see it's actually like glass in there, which kind of makes the eye look bigger. And the hat is part of the process of using the stripe stencil. It's the mint, the number THS 1112, and what I did is, instead of using inks, I used the clear transparent gloss texture paste, did one color, gave it a couple minutes to dry, then did another. And we're going to put this hat together, and he's going to go inside this box and be here standing vertical. Alright, and then also what I did was I had Baubles, the Tim Holtz Baubles, and some of the, this is like it started out gold, and I just used the alcohol ink, swirled them around, and then these are also some of the beads from last Christmas's release, which I don't know if they're still available, if they're, he didn't put them out this year, but I just took and used my alcohol ink with all of these. This is Valencia, so that one's Valencia. This purple is Amethyst, and this one is Limeade. So what I'm going to be doing now is taking the tree and, let's see, make some room here. So I figured what I would do is just randomly start placing you know, these, and I also added pitch black to the stem of these berries, so then that way I didn't have to worry about covering up the white. But look at that tree, isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, so I'm just going to probably randomly just start gluing and placing you know, all these little beads inside there. And actually, you know, if I want these to be coming out a little bit, because the baubles will be placed. Can you see how that's kind of coming out? It might be a little too long. Maybe. I can always rearrange them once I get them in. But yep, I'll have the berries coming out more, and then these baubles will be glued more inside, like so. And I've got all three colors. I'm not going to add this tinsel. That's what it was. This is the gold tinsel that I colored. I'm not going to add the tinsel until the end. So I'm just going to do that because there really isn't anything tricky to it, and then I will come back and should be coming close to just finishing up with some details. Okay, so wouldn't be me if I didn't use Tangled Webs. It's my most used stamp set this year. I just love it. But I'm thinking probably here, and I'm going to use Stazon. I'm also going to be stamping some of the other webs onto Dura-Lar and placing it on the actual frame just to add some element of depth. So I'm just going to lightly ink this up. Okay, looks nice and juicy. And then go about here. And with Stazon, it's very slick, so just be sure that when you're stamping, you're going straight up and down. There we go. That looks great. So I'm going to stamp my other webs, and then I'm also actually going to stamp the bigger one here on the actual paper with just using Archival ink, so then that way it appears as if it's on the other side of the tree. And then we'll be back to do a little work to the frame. Okay, so let's remember when we stamped on the plain collage paper, and in some areas the stamp wasn't connected, and I said, oh, don't worry about it. Well, if you take a 0.3 or smaller, even a 0.1 would work. I couldn't find mine, but what you're wanting to do is just connect these, you know, very lightly with a light hand. You'd rather have them skip than to be too dark. But what you're wanting to do is just connect these lines, so then that way the eye isn't so drawn to that break. It doesn't matter if it's a little different, because yeah, it's definitely less attention grabbing if they're connected. So yeah, just real lightly. You don't have to do all of them, just a couple of them, because spider webs are usually broken up anyway. You just, and there we go. So that's that. And then what I decided is, in my tool arsenal, I have some of these, I don't know, wood daubers. I think in the day they were meant for, like, remember those chalk, the pastel chalks? I used them in scrapbooking over, I don't know, 15 years ago. But I'm going to add polka dots all over the frame, and then add some glitter to it, because this is all about just the, you know, the glitz and the glam of lights and brights and shiny, like Christmas morning. So the size I was looking for is, it's good because I'm going to go random, you know, random pattern, but see how about with the three of them, it about equals the width of the frame. That's what I was going for. So then that way I can overlap, and, you know, but they're not too big and they're not too small. So I'm just going to put down some of my colors. I've got Seedless Preserve. I don't have any of the Wilted Violet, but it's going to be okay. And then got to add some of the black. It's on the base green, so I don't need any of the citrus, Twisted Citron. And then I've got some Spiced Marmalade. Alright, and then I'm just going to start just adding, I think, making sure it's not saturated, and just start adding some dots. And if I And if there's one I don't like this one, I am just going to hurry up and wipe it down. And then give it a couple seconds to dry, and then give it another try. Okay. That's better. So I'm just gonna, well, there's the Seedless Preserves. Let's show some of the carved pumpkin. And remember just to be kind of random, going in the middle but also on the edges and off the edges. And spacing is probably, you know, let's go more. Every, I don't know, what is that, about 4 inches? And it'll just all end up working out. So there's some of the carved pumpkin, and then black's going to be really pretty stark. So let's get this one going. I don't know, right here. Cover up some of that where we had to fix. And I'm not so worried if this isn't getting way, you know, into this groove. I can always come back with a brush, but like I said, also the plan is to add some glossy accents and glitter too. So this is really just about the base of the polka dot. So I'm going to continue going all the way around, and then probably put a second coat, maybe, I don't know, because it is getting glitter, but we'll be back to show the glitter part. Okay, so the polka dots are dry, and I just wanted to share too that prior to cleaning off my little applicators or sponge thingies, I had some scrap paper, so I just kept dabbing, and look at all these Halloween papers, and this is on deli paper, so you know, that'll end up transparent, but yeah, you know, there was a lot of paint in there. Didn't worked out well that it didn't go to waste. Who knows, maybe it may end up being used in the title or something, who knows. But anyway, so the next step, what we're going to do is I'm going to take, I washed out my daubers, sponges, whatever you want to call them, and I've got some glossy accents here. And I'm thinking that you could brush this on, you could do, you know, whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm just going to put a pile of the glossy accents down, and only a little bit. Well, that looks like a lot, but really it's not going to be, but only a little bit at a time, because one, I need to work in segments, plus glossy accents dries pretty quick. And I'm using this because not only does it dry glossy, but it's got a good body to it. So I'm going to start with the, what is this, the orange glitter, and I'm just applying this to the, you know, existing orange, and I'm not worrying if it's perfect or not, because it's I don't feel it's going to be necessary to fit the circle exactly. And then, ooh, I got a piece of paper in there, sorry. And then I'll just pour some on. And then this sheet, this is just one of those kid construction papers, pre-cut, but and then I'll pour it all out once I'm emptying my cup. But look at that, how fun is that? Okay, so the polka dots are dry, and here it is with the glass in there and the spider web stamped, and I'm going to start to build the base here. So here I've got the top reinforced because the tree is going to get stuck inside. But how I'm going to attach this is I need something here. I don't want to just glue here. So I'm going to make 2 strips to go inside of here. And I've just taken and used some double-sided adhesive by Thermoweb. It's pretty strong. Just cut a couple strips. And then just put them inside. I've got them started. I'm going to fold them in half first, like so, and then just peel it off, lay it inside here. And I'm not hot glue. I don't want to glue it to glass. It's just not going to stick. But this double-sided tape is pretty heavy duty, so just adding it and butting it up to this edge, and then we'll take and I'm going to kind of fold them up a little bit so I can get it in position first before it tries to stick. And I know I'm going into these corners. I want a bit of a bow, so I've got a little bit of room to work with underneath the tree. And then I'm just going to push these tabs into place. Now you can't see inside there, but I'll show you in just a second. Making sure that's attached real well. So there we go. So you can see that inside there. And then that way, then our tree will get placed inside of here like so. Like that. Okay, and now I also have, I decided, because there's going to be a bit of a gap in here once we get these two boxes, and I don't know, you know, I'm just such an angle girl, because I did kind of switch things around and decided to have them all onto one side, but this is going to go like that, and then I've just quickly straight stitched. I had some vinyl left over from an old Halloween costume, so I just, you know, put a quick hem, straight stitch, added some ribbon, and then I'm going to have this cape be right under here and work it to just look and cover up that hole there. So we'll just kind of get it together here. Like so. And then there. So I'm going to get these boxes glued on. You don't need to watch that. And then return for just a couple of the last final steps. Okay, so here's quite a bit of it put together. The tree's all done, and for a tree topper, I took some satin ribbon and dyed it, and then stamped on it, and then just laid it as in, you know, so it's cascading down the tree. You know, we've always got bulbs laying around the tree, so added some baubles that were dyed, and then I also the stamped webs on the Dura-Lar, added them here and here, and then one in here. And really, the last couple of details are just bits and pieces. I'm going to add some pumpkins and probably the, okay, so I'm just going to take some of this fringe and I'm going to glue it here just to add a little bit. Like so. I'm just gonna make sure I got a good dollop of glue underneath there. Great, so might just add a little something here, but that's pretty much it. I mean, any of the remaining details are just, you know, you adding stuff that you have. So I hope you enjoyed the series. If you have any ideas for maybe some Thanksgiving or Christmas projects, you know, be sure to leave them for me in the comments. I always love some, you know, fresh new ideas. So yeah, as always, have a blessed day. Thank you.